Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Saummya and today we will be moving forward to our second question, maximum and minimum of an array using minimum number of comparisons. So let's move. So this is our second problem. Maximum and minimum of an array using minimum number of comparisons. We will be keeping an extra focus on this term, minimum number of comparisons, in this problem. Okay. So let's move to our ID. Okay, for reference, I have taken this array 22, 14, 8, 17, 35 and 3. We have to find the minimum and the maximum element in this array. So let's just print the array once. Okay. So since we are using Python and we are having an inbuilt function of sort in Python, so let us try to do it using that only. Using the inbuilt sort function here. Okay, let's print this once. Sorted array. Let's run. Okay, and now if we want the minimum and maximum element, so we can see this first element is the minimum and the last element is the maximum one. So we can simply print it as maximum last element and minimum as the first element. Let's save and run this once. So we can see we are getting the first element as the minimum one and the last element as the maximum. Okay, so this was our very first method, and we know here the time complexity will be order of n log n, because here we are using the sort function and sort function have the time complexity of n log n. Okay, so this was our first method. Now let's move to our next method. So people, moving forward to our second method. In the previous one what we did was simply we sorted the array and print the first and last element. Okay, so I guess that's not a proper solution. So let's see a proper one. Let us just take this array to understand things. Okay, so what we'll be doing is first we will take these two elements. Okay, let's comment this. Let's take this array. What we will be doing is we will take these two elements. Okay, then keep the smaller one as the minimum one and the larger one as the maximum. So what I'm trying to say is here 14 is the smaller one. Okay, so we will take one variable min1. Okay, this is 14 and maximum one is 22. Now we will be iterating through this array. Now we will be comparing both of them, taking a loop and checking after these two elements. For 8 we will be checking if the minimum value is greater than, means 8 is less than the minimum value or not. If it is less, then we will assign this value as 8. Okay, then we will be checking 17. 17 is greater than 8, so it will not be assigned. Moving forward, 35, it is greater, and again 3 is lesser than 8, so the minimum value will be 3. Same, the loop will go for the maximum one, 22. We will check for 8. 8 is lower, so it will not. Then 17, it is also less than 22. Then 35. 35 is greater than 22, so it will be updated by 35. Okay, and 3 is lower, so it will not be updated. Now let's just code for this. Let us take a variable n as length of array A Okay, now we'll be checking. One thing to focus is if the value of n is 1, which means the array is having only one element, then the maximum and the minimum, both the elements will be same as that element only. So we will just code for that condition. Max, I'm taking max 1 because max is a function in Python. Max 1 is that first element only, and same is for minimum. Okay, now moving forward, else what we'll be doing, we will be comparing in the first two elements which one is smaller and which one is greater than. So we will be taking the maximum and minimum accordingly. So let's code for this. If array of 0 index is greater than the first index, then what will happen? Since a of 0 is greater, it will be the max, and minimum 1 will be the element at first index, and if not so, then this will be vice versa. Okay, now we have done the first thing. Now we have got our max 1 and min 1. Okay, now moving forward, what we need to do is get these two compared with the other elements in our array. Okay, now moving forward, we will take a loop for I in range starting from index 2, because we have already checked the first two elements. Okay, 2 to n. What we will be doing is, if of I is greater than, first we are checking for the maximum one, then max 1 will be updated by that element, and if a of I is less than minimum 1, minimum 1 will be updated by that element. Okay, now our code is complete, so now let's just print our elements. We're just changing this as max 1 and this is min 1. Just save this. I'll be commenting this part. Okay, save and run. We can see the output is same. We are getting 35 as the maximum and 3 as the minimum. Now one thing to focus is how many times the iterations are being done, or what is the time complexity. Okay, now we can see here n minus 2 times two double iterations are going on. So we can say here 2 into n minus 2 2 into n minus times iterations are going on, and one iteration is done here, like to check if which one is max 1 and which one is minimum. So we can do a plus 1. Okay, so here as n is equal to how much? 1 2 3 4 5 6. So here it is equal to, okay, so let's we will try doing one more method to minimize these number, as 9 is much more for this, and as we remember our problem was with minimum number of comparisons. Okay, so moving forward to our third method, what we will be doing here is, okay, first we will be checking just like the second method, first two elements, which one is greater and which one is lesser than. According to that, we will be assigning the values min1 and max1 to the index values. Okay, so what after that we'll be doing, like for here, okay, we will write these things. Let's see, here max1 is 22 and min1 is what, 14. Okay, now what we will be doing is, now we will, after this we will be moving to the next two elements, 8 and 17. We will be seeing which is the lower one. So here we can see 8 is less and 17 is greater. Since 8 is lesser, then moving forward we will compare 8 to minimum. If it is lesser, minimum will be updated to 8, and we will compare 17. If 17 is greater than the maximum one value, it will be updated, but it is not, then it will not be updated. Okay, now next step we will be moving to the next two elements, 35 and 3. Since 35 is greater, we will be checking the greater one for the max, means we will be comparing 22 and 35 for max 1. Since 35 is greater, max 1 will be updated by 35. Okay, and since 3 is the lower value, we will be comparing 3 for min 1, and since 3 is lower, min 1 will be updated. So let's code for this. You will be able to understand this thing after coding better. Okay, so one thing, since in the first step, every step we were taking two elements. Since this is the number of elements is even, we were completely easily able to take two elements, compare them, and moving forward. So if the number of elements are odd, say for example, if we are having this array, copy this only, sorry, and just remove one element. Okay, since we are having 5 elements, in that case what we will be doing is just taking the first element and assigning same value to max 1 and min 1 and moving forward. Okay, so let's try and code for this. So very first thing is we need n is length of our array. Okay, and then moving forward we need to check if n is even or not. If it's even, then we will be doing the same thing we did in the previous one. Okay, I'm just copying this. Okay, and else if n is not even, what we will be doing is minimum value and maximum value will be same as the index 0. So this also I will be copying from here only. Okay, so we are done with our very first step. Now what we'll be doing, one thing, I will be taking the index value here, index, it's 0. Okay, and if we are having even number of elements, I will be updating the value of I as 2 after this, and if we are having odd number of elements, I will be updating the value of I as 1 after this. Okay, so let's move forward. Since we have to iterate till this element only, means we need to iterate through n minus 1th element only. What I will be doing is, I will be using a while loop and till I is less than n minus 1. Okay, and now we'll be checking the conditions, like if is greater than of I plus 1. Now since a of I is greater, we will be checking it for maximum. Okay, array of I, here also if will come. If array of I, this one is greater than max 1, then we will be updating the value of max 1 by this. Now we will be checking if the value I plus 1, this is less than min. Since it is the lower value, we will check it for minimum. If it is lesser, then we will be updating the minimum value by this value. Okay. And if this is not the condition, means a of I is less than a of I plus 1, what we will be doing is, sorry, not if, we are doing is, just this thing will be changed, means ki a of I will be getting checked for minimum 1 and a of I plus 1 will be getting checked for the maximum 1. Okay, and maximum. So save this, and after this I'll be increasing the value of I by 2. Sorry. Now we'll be just printing this, copying this thing from the previous method only. Save and run. Yes. See, we are getting the expected output 35 as the maximum and 3 as the minimum. Okay, so the thing to notice here is the number of comparisons that are happening. Okay, looking forward to see the number of iterations or comparisons in this method 3. We can write it here as comparisons. Okay, so we can see for every if condition there are 3 times comparisons happening here, 1, 2, and this is the third one. Even if this condition is not true, then first time here, second and third. Okay, so 3 times minimum it's always happening. Then we can see how many times the loop is working, n minus 1. And one more thing we need to note here is the loop is iterating after 2 elements, so it will be halved. So people, this one is for odd number of elements, if the array is having odd numbers. Okay, why so? Very first thing we can notice is, if the array is having even number of elements, then one more iteration will be increased here, because we are taking 2 elements in the start. Okay, so let's just write this. First this will be increased by 1, and also if the number is even and I is starting by 2, then this iteration will also be 1 lesser. This will be till n minus 2 only. So we can just do this, and this is for our even number of elements. So if we check this for our case, like we are having even number of elements and the number of elements is 6, so what will be the value? 6 minus 2 is 4, 4 by 2 2, 2 3s are 6, and 1 7. So here we are having the value 7. We can compare this with our previous method, like this is 7, and in method 2 what value we got? It was 9. So we can say this method 3 is the better one, which is giving us the minimum number of comparisons. Okay, we can see this is the best method. So that's all for today, guys. If you like my video, please like, comment, share, and please subscribe to my channel